Hey there folks, welcome to the next stream of the 730 mile per hour tryouts. In this tryouts I am doing the Volkswagen Sambabus Type 2 1962 with the 911 motor. So here's the parts and things I did to the Sambabus Type 2 with the 911 motor, which I'm just gonna say, no engine parts, and I technically took some of the parts off because you want this as low as possible in order to do 130. Because it's a bit of a, let's see what's the best way to say it. It's a bit of a butt to do this, but I had to do it because otherwise this car wouldn't be a contender here in the tryouts at all. As much as I wanted to with the regular motor, it just did not work for it. So yeah, instead I just slapped the 911 and put it as low as possible. That's probably the lowest a 911 motor could get, I would say. I would say technically lower than that, but it's like a tad. It's almost at the lowest, I would say. So yeah, overall, just bought my interchange parts. I say interchange parts loosely. I've already used those, to be honest. So you're gonna be hearing like a stock motor at the end of it, but it uses the engine. In case you're wondering, it's a 964 portion in terms of model of the 911s, because there's so many 911s. But yeah, there's no wide body. But here's the engine swap for the 911. It still happened to do 911, which is $226,000 for it. It's a bit expensive, but this allows the Sambabus to hit higher planes at the end of the day. So I definitely gotta say an A rank in that case for allowing the Sambabus to be a lot quicker than it ever should be. I don't know if you should go really much higher, because I will say be careful over horsepower in cars when it comes to engine swaps and stuff, especially what I recently did for the showcase, which you'll be seeing the showcase after this one, because I'm going to dedicate a whole week dealing with the showcase at the end of it. But here's the parts you can basically do to it, which is not much. There's really not much aerodynamic parts or anything. You can't take the bumper off or anything of that such. Well, I said bumper loosely, that might be just attachment in general. But to say though, the Sambabus, you don't really get to do much to it at the end of the day and such. But yeah, in case you're wondering what motor it originally had, it basically had the motor that was equivalent to the Volkswagen Beetle at the end of the day. Which you'll be seeing the Volkswagen Beetle because that's light enough. This was too heavy. Well, I wouldn't say heavy, but aerodynamic. That was the problem when it came to the Sambabus. But yeah, you can also take the Volkswagen badge off, which leads to me thinking I'll do a design for this one in the future. I don't know yet, but that's all I can think of for now. But yeah, in terms of the height adjustment and stuff for the tune-ups, I didn't really technically do a whole lot for the most part. I think I just upped the suspension frequency, maybe. Want to point out, at least point out, if I didn't, I didn't. If it's the same, it's the same. The same goes. But yeah, as you can see on the ECU though, 72, that's technically lowest, and then 70 just for just performance adjustment. So yeah, it doesn't need any of that. And then gears, does the gear ratio right here. Make sure to show that every time, so that way people can get the right amount of gears needed. But yeah, as you can see there, the 4 gears are long instead of closer. So yeah, 4 long gears to a close 5th gear. And then a racing air filter and normal muffler and normal exhaust manifold, as you can see there. But yeah, that's basically all I need to mention, I think. I don't think there's already mentioned, but as you can see, the time there, it hit like a minute 22.794 when I was doing the testings and such at the time. So on to the race, because yeah, I didn't got detail for this whatsoever. So the Volkswagen Sambabus is kind of a legendary because it's kind of like the minivan, even though it wasn't a minivan. It's kind of weird because it's like, you want to say it's a minivan, but it's not a minivan. It's the best part. And then not only that, the Sambabus is like one of the weirdest box vehicles out there, because here's the other thing when it came to the Sambabus too. It's also a Volkswagen Beetle under disguise. So the body on top and everything within the Sambabus is the Sambabus, while the chassis, the frame, and everything else is part of the Beetle. Because yeah, the Sambabus is one of those vehicles that shares the well, when Volkswagen made a vehicle lineup, they made a family of a vehicle lineup. So example, there's the Sambabus, there's also a Samba truck, which that's pretty rare. And then you got the Volkswagen Beetle, and then you got like some other ones that also share the Volkswagen Beetle in terms of body. For example, the Cuba wagon. Because yeah, fun fact, the Beetle was also used for war. Because yeah, this whole ideal when it came to the Beetle and such was having a family lineage, so that way they don't have to make a whole different engine or a whole different transmission for that car at the end of the day. Which I say for the Sambabus case, very debatable because this is a heavy vehicle at the end of the day. And I say heavy loosely because I can see on the weight, it's only 2,300 pounds. That's not heavy at all technically for the Sambabus. Because I think it is technically a unibody too. I believe. I didn't really look this part up. Look that part up, but to say though, I think it's kind of like that to say, because it's kind of weird, just a big old body just slapped onto the chassis at the end of it, and I think that's just how the Sambabus works. In fact, I think that's how the Volkswagen Beetle works too, because yeah, it's lighter, but it's also technically more dangerous as a result. Honestly, I think this is like one of the kind of first vehicles with a sunroof in a way. As you see, will be windows on the upper left, if you count that as a sunroof. Unless that big old clip there is a sunroof right there. I don't know, if not. But yeah, the Sambabus is a very interesting pedestrian vehicle at the end of it, for the most part. And also, kind of a fast one too, as you can see here. It hit like 122.906, which, funny enough, that is, I believe, the best lap, I think. I hate to say this. So yeah, I think technically when I did the tune-up, I did quicker. So let's see here. Yeah, considering that's... No, wait, hang on. That's... Okay, yeah, no. I was wrong about that. Yeah, 123.456, which... Oof. Alright, so now on to the best lap. Or maybe it was, let's see. Nope, okay. The best lap was around 7th lap, okay. I must be thinking a different one on that. Yeah, 123.154. It really did not want to try any further. Because, yeah. The trade-off is for being a boxy vehicle, aerodynamic is just not really resistant with this vehicle at the end of the day. Makes me wonder if we ever get the ID Buzz, but because yeah, the ID Buzz is technically the successor to the Sambabus, but I know there's gonna be issues when it comes to that one for sure. Then it's electric, so yeah, they didn't want to try to do. I don't know if they wanted to try to do a gas one or not for that, but it really sucks though because at the end of the day, it unlike the Sambabus, which sold pretty good, the ID Buzz sold like crap, to say. But yeah, so on to the best lap here. As we get up here. And like a 50 seconds there. That seems a lot quicker as we go to the roundabout here. So yeah, in terms of times, this could be beaten as we go to the roundabout here. Then straight away in, let's see, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 122.647. So yeah, overall not bad for the first run. And a bit quicker than the 122.7. Just a tad. Not a lot, but I'm not surprised because I was pushing as much as I can out of Sambabus. Now onto the speed side of things, which I don't remember being that crazy about speed, to be honest, so this might be just an okay kind of thing, but let's see here. Swings around the 100-mile-per-hour corner. Yeah, I notice like every car that goes around this corner is like 100 miles per hour. Big old 100-mile-per-hour swing. I got the go-kart kid after me. But yeah, in terms of speed, I'm gonna say, as what we've seen there in the south reverse of Grand Valley Highway there, it hit like 115, so I would say probably a 3-star, because that's kind of the most balanced routine I'm noticing, or 4-star. Probably Yeah, you know what? Let's go with 4-star on that one. Because 115 is pretty good for top speed wise, but on that climb up though for acceleration, I want to also say a 3-star for the acceleration. The acceleration hits about 85, so it's not crazy, but it's about right what most cars should kind of sit at, I would say, when it comes to that climb section. And then turning, probably a 2 because there's not much aerodynamics to this, to be honest, so it's not that kind of crazy. And then when it comes to the tire burn, I believe it's kind of balanced, to be honest. For the most part. Now, the bad part is the biggest detriment part of the Sambabus. Well, for being a very unaerodynamic and somewhat heavy in terms of fun size case, 2,300 pounds is technically heavy in this department. It kind of burns like half the fuel for the most part, a little bit more than the half of the fuel. So you gotta be very careful about. You may have to lean like in some cases to get the most out of it at the end of the day. But overall, I would say for fuel, 2 stars. For tire burn, probably 4 stars because that's not bad overall. And then not only that, as the saying goes, you technically don't need a whole lot of fuel, but it's good to have some fuel at least. So I think that's where the detriment is at when it comes to the Sambabus in general. Especially what course I decided to throw this car into, because I decided to throw it into a speed course. That was a big freaking mistake. I'm just gonna say that now. It's probably gonna be one time I'm gonna be doing this until I get a more efficient speed tryout for that, because I kind of realized I shouldn't be really doing the speed ones very much, because they're just outright slow for the most part. That thing goes. Yeah, now onto the roundabout here once again. Let's see, I did a 131.095. That's not bad overall, for the most part. Let's see, let's check these times, shall we? So I have a time though. Yeah, and 130.399. That's pretty good. It's pretty good for the most part. Oh, not this one. This one. Yeah. Yeah, him 130 point, what was it? 130.399. Okay, so that is beating the Fiat 500F. Now it just needs to beat the Willys Jeep, which the Willys Jeep is 129.851. So yeah, it's got a lot of leeway to this at the end of the day. Cause yeah, I will say at least it's very consistent. It's just speed wise, it's not really there. Which is kind of. No, it's not technically shocking. That's kind of what I expected in Sambabus, to be honest. At the end of the day, if anything, I will say the rear might be a tad loose, but it's not really that noticeable when I detune this motor to heck and back, as the thing goes. Yeah, so now going around some corners on the best lap here, because apparently this is the better lap. So let's see how much of an increase this is. Because yeah, you would think I know this. I won't when it's been a good bit since I last recorded this, because let's say I almost recorded this like a week ago. I would say. But onto the best lap here. Let's see if it beats the Willys Jeep, which is like I said, 129.854, I believe. Okay, let me look. 120. Oh no, 851. Okay. 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129. Ooh, bummer. 130.192 though. That's not bad. That basically beats. That places in fifth place. Yeah, fifth place with the Fiat 500F. But now onto Tsukuba. Which, yeah, in terms of lap, I'm not going to be surprised. It's probably going to sit with the rest. The fastest ever is the Willys Jeep with the 103.688, which I'm not surprised. Its acceleration was insane. That's the great part about that Willys Jeep. And yeah, like I said though, the Sambabus burns even more fuel than the Willys Jeep. So technically, overall, yeah, the Willys Jeep just decimates the Sambabus entirely. I'm not surprised though. The Willys Jeep is all-wheel drive. The Willys Jeep is strangely fast with that 4-speed gearbox. But yeah, I think this is a 5-speed. Work off. And that's what shocks me. I figured it was like a 4-speed like the Willie Jeep. No, it's a 5-speed. Shockingly. For 1962 Sambabus. Then again, I think the 60s was when the 5-speed started showing up. Then again, I think, for the most part. Although that's a rare option. Oh no. The 5-speed was kind of just like the best transmission to go with for the long run of things. Until 6-speed came along and even better. Yeah, 106.157, which is not bad. That's getting a good number at least. Not a crazy number, but it's sitting right there between the Fiat 500F and the Mini Cooper S. Mini Cooper S has 106.091 right now. So yeah, it's got a little bit just to beat that Mini Cooper at the end of the day. If it beats that, that's pretty good for the most part. But yeah, the biggest reason why I did the 911 motor for the Sambabus is because it wasn't able to hit 130 with the base motor it given. You know, that base motor is the same motor that's in the Volkswagen Beetle, just to say. So you'll be seeing it on the Beetle, but for the Sambabus, you're seeing the 911. And I believe this is probably the only engine swap I'm going to be doing of all the tryouts, because I wanted to show the Sambabus at least. Because the Sambabus is a fun vehicle at the end of it. It's not a super crappy vehicle, thank God for that, and it's not going to be when you add the Porsche 911 motor in it, which Porsche 911 motors are really good. Usually, if you want I want to say mid-level acceleration, you usually want the Porsche 911 motor, which yeah, it beat the Mini Cooper in 105.760 though, so yeah. Oh, it even beat the Roadster too. It beat the Ford Roadster, so maybe I'm wrong about the acceleration. Maybe it should be 4 then, in that case. Considering what I just seen there, because holy crap. In that case. Which I'm not surprised, because like I said, there is a trade-off when you have lack of aerodynamics, and technically being heavier is that you technically get more speed as a result. Or you're able to put down more horsepower into the vehicle at the end of it. The trade-off is when you do that, you probably not only get less aerodynamic turning, you get less fuel in the long run of things. So, yeah, overall, the Sambabus, very incredible little machine. So, in that 105.760, however, what's the best lap says? As we go to the best lap, which is 105.749 for that one at some point. But there's apparently a better one, and that happened at the near end too. Which that's what I would consider the lucky lap at that point, because you wouldn't think you get a better lap at the end, but there's a chance you can. As we go around to the roundabout, Tsukuba's turns here. Watch Jesus. Well, that's a swing turn right there, but this turn's like a roundabout. Or what U-turns. Technically. Go around the tight roundabout here. Go along the big old straight that Tsukuba only has. Well, somewhat. I mean, consider the checker lap also straight too, technically. It's not as big as this one here. I'm not surprised. Go around the big old large roundabout here at the end. Going high, let's see here, 105.486. Good God, that now is the second place in terms of Tsukuba circuit entirely. Now, what can it do? Basically, it can do the Sunday Cup, as always. It can do Sunday Cup Classic as well. So if you want something fun for the Classic side of things, got that. You can do the European Sunday Cup 400 with the race hard tires given and stuff. And it's pretty, I would say it's pretty efficient too for that. So, in case you want something that just aces that out of the hole. For 500, as long as it's the tight courses, you might be good. And then for anything else, I'm trying to think. I'm going to always try to mention historic sports car in the process, but I'm just going to say that's probably not going to be that good enough. Because most historic ones are mostly speed courses. Besides, the only one I could say is Grand Valley Highway at best. Now we got high speed ring track day you can do, and you can also do the Tokyo Highway Parade with this if you really want to. You know, by then, I was surprised he hit level 50. So now on to the race, which I forgot to toss the thing for that, but oh well. It's basically Deep Forest with 14 laps on comfort medium tires, I believe. So yeah. So basically comfort medium tires, and the reason why this level of opponents is because this is a speed course to me at the end of it. Yeah, as the same goes for a speed course. You're kind of going to end up with, no matter what, the kind of same levels of speed of opponents in some ways. And I'm going to say some ways on that because Sophie takes that ball and turns it upside to your face, as the saying goes. And I have dead proof, as always, because yeah, just say I have a clip. I have some clips. Now, I will say I've done this race before, but I gotta say, as much as I wanted to stay with that one, I did realize that Cleo was very fast at the end of the day. Because yeah, it did like a 151. The opponent was doing a 148. But at least I get this though. And that's why I think of Sophie in a nutshell. As the saying goes. That's how BS I think of Sophie. Because if you see those times there, he's in like 148. Just say the Cleo only does 151. So yeah, say hello to the stupid progressional band I freaking despise. And I'm going to keep mentioning about this till the day it gets tweaked. As the thing goes. But yeah, that's the problem about Sophie in a nutshell. And the best part is, you're still going to see it. Just say we have a certain opponent here that's going to be pulling time. He shouldn't be ever really pulling at all. You're going to be seeing them once I get up there, basically. Yeah, we just got some opponents here from the Toyota Sprinter Truno. Because yeah, we got a bunch of classic, I want to say 90s and 80s kind of cars. It's a lot of good competitors. But then I have both the Skylines here. I'm kind of curious which Skyline kind of wins at the end of the day. But yeah, I got the Toyota Truno here. And then you got the regular MX-5, but we also got a new MX-5 up there too. Or where's Miatas? We got Suzuki Sport 07. I don't think we have the 2017 one, but we have the 07 one. But that's fine anyways, because I think the 17 one was a bit quicker. I think, for the most part. Yeah, just seeing them just drag race across the straight here. But yeah, if you wanted that hit was not from me. That was from the Skyline. If anything, I'm trying to wave around here because it's a bit of a tight situation there. You got the Suzuki Swift Sport on the side there. Just try to weave to the corners because yeah, that's gonna be my specialty is the corners. While the straights is gonna be their specialty in return. But yeah, we got the new Roadster up here. I say new loosely, that's 2015 one. Because yeah, I forgot there's two of them. Or technically three of them, count the club racing one. So, technically you can. And then you got the Aber 500. And then you got the Skyline 2000 GTR. That's boxy form. And then the BMW 3.0 CSL. But yeah, here's the opponent. As the saying goes. Which, yeah. As soon as I got up here, did anyone notice he started getting quicker? Like all of a sudden he just got a big old oomph push? Yeah, that's what we call the progressional band or just rubber band in general. Because yeah, once you basically get up to a certain point, the opponents start getting pushed by you, technically. As not a magnet of coming at you like rubber band should, but a magnet of repelling them forward. So yeah, say hello to the biggest problem I have about freaking AIs in general. Because I want to say this is technically a Sophie problem, because that's the thing goes. I kind of still believe Sophie boosts it at the end of the day. But I will say this also happens normally too. As the thing goes. But yeah, this is the biggest AI I hate when it comes to the Grand Turismo 7 in general, and the best part is I'm mentioning it again because I think I mentioned it in the last part. Matter of fact, I mentioned this from the last one. because I was sliding some slivets of it, as the thing goes. But yeah, that's the biggest freaking problem. Also, yeah, I give me 0. And you got the Porsche 356A. But yeah, that thing's on max gear, so it ain't gonna be going quicker anytime soon. But it's, I would say, quicker than the Aquas, I hope. Which yeah, the Aquas is just a lighter Toyota Purus at the end of it. And then you got the Golf Rabbit. Golf GTI. Makes me wonder if we're ever gonna get the Golf M-Kit too. The more I think about that one. We got the Toyota Alpha, which, fun fact, this was gonna be a contender for the 130 mile per hour tryouts. Didn't work because how bad it burns through the freaking fuel at the end of the day. And I don't even know why for that one. Besides weighing like 5,200 pounds, but for something like 200 horsepower, I wouldn't think you eat through fuel in a 9 times burn, but I guess I'm wrong. This thing goes. There's Toyota 2000 GT, that's a classic sports car. Cause yeah, I would say classic sport car to me hit pedestrian speed at the end of it. Even Civic does. Civic does, Truno does. Although here's the funny part, you're not gonna be seeing these for pedestrian contenders at the end of the day. That's the funny part. If anything, you're probably gonna be seeing these for when I get to sports speed. Because I think that's where they should be technically hitting. Or sports speed is 186. If you wanna know. So yeah, you're gonna be seeing contenders like that one to that one. I don't know if I'm gonna do probably the first ones or not. So I'm probably gonna do the F Civic instead. Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's a bit hard to say when it comes to that one. And you got the Skyline 2000 GT. Well, I will say sports car loosely. These are called, like the Skyline, I consider that classic GT. Because those are GTs, the Grand Tours. Which in other words should be hitting 200 miles per hour. You got the Avalor 500. And then you got the Alfa Romeo Mito tuned up with it. You got the Fairlady 240ZG, probably one of the best GTs. Or not, it's not GT, it's like ZG or something like that. It's a really weird name for that one. You got another 2000 GT, and you got the hardtop GT of Skyline. Classic box. And then you got the Monster Roadster S in that 4th right now. Then we got Tundra here, but as soon as we get to the Tundra here comes the biggest flaw about the Tundra. And maybe because of the fact that I'm doing 9 times burn fuel on this. But I kind of got to, because it's like the Cape, I want to say the Cape fuel parameters I have for this in mind. But I don't want them being that good, as the saying goes. Because I find that any vehicle should be hitting 9 times fuel burn. When it comes to 130s, that way it represents their economic prowess in some cases. Or something like the minivan is the Alfa or the Tundra truck, they're probably going to hit that sports speed too, so you're probably going to end up seeing them in sports fit too. I'm thinking a lot when it comes to that. You get the BMW 3.0 or 3.0 CSL, which, by the way, when it came to the Sophie Ram selection, it kept picking that one for dang sure. Matter of fact, I saw like an instant where it was 4 of those. It's like, yeah, no. You guys are gonna be separate on what cars you're selecting, and there's a bunch of cars, guys. Come on, this thing goes. So I kind of try to minimize it to at least seeing just 2 of them, which in this case is the 2000 GTs and such. You got the Civic SIR2, the egg. It's an egg. You got the Truno, the Swift Sport. You got the Alfred. So yeah, so for the Alpha, I'm definitely going to do sports speed for that one, because at least it hits, I would assume it at least hits there at least, for most part. But yeah, it's just not really good for the economic size of 130 or 155. Otherwise, I would have to lower the fuel burn, and that doesn't feel right at all. I will say. Because I will say, once we hit sports speed, that's when I lowered the fuel a bit to like at least times 6, so it's not so bad. for like big cars like this, because yeah, big cars suffer big time when the 9 times speed hits, or 9 times fuel burn hits, because it's just gonna eat it alive. Because reminder that like if this vehicle's burned this much on the ×1, and if you had a ×2, that doubles that burn. It doesn't like 1.5 apply, it doubles, like straight up doubles the burn. That's like tire burn stuff, that's another big thing, which, yeah, kind of a issue I noticed lately, and especially in New World Touring 800 they did. So they're trying to increase tire wear, which is a big issue for production cars, because production cars that they run like, oh, I don't know, 275 mile per hour, they're gonna be burning those tires like no tomorrow. Like, example, that Tuscan Speed 6, because they got an engine swap for the XJR9 LMP, or Group C pan car. So yeah, it got that, which was nice. The problem was, it burned through, you know, it burned through the tires, as the saying goes. Because it was just too much for it. Yeah, see the Alpha in the pits. But yeah, it's kind of funny seeing a minivan in the pits. I don't know, one day, there's probably, well no, there's probably already a day for that. There's probably some kind of minivan club racing out there somewhere. I'm surprised that's not a popular thing. Or not a super popular thing. You got the Skyline 2000 GTR just strolling along. Except the SIR. Got the Abar 300, or no, not 300, 500. They never made, well, I don't know if they made a 300 come back to it. They might have. At some point, probably. We got the Roadster S getting beaten by the Alfa Romeo Mito. That shocks me a little bit. So the Mito is definitely getting up a little higher in stages, which I'm not surprised. That is a sports hatch. Yeah, speaking of sports, you're gonna end up seeing a bunch of hatchbacks, like the 500. The 500 Abarth would be one of them. The Mito would be another. Cause yeah, the Mito to me is a sports hatch. It's not a. It's a regular hatchback. That's like the Roadster as a sports car to me. Even though for roads, when it comes to Roadsters, they only hit like pretty close to pedestrian speeds. That's the fun part, because they don't. Well, they change some things when it comes to updates of Roadsters, but they change it for a good reason. Because I will say the Roadster does something that people don't realize when it comes to cars. Instead of completely overhaul and changing the car, change it for the better efficiency and change it for the better reliability. That's really the true aim you should be always aiming for when it comes to making these sports cars, or the next gen of a sports car at the end of the day, and not just completely replacing it, calling it the Fairlane Z, and it turns out it's nowhere to even be related to the Z at all, as the thing goes. Yeah, it's just me having a match with the BMW 3-point CSL. But yeah, as you can see in the time there, he's hitting 153.163, because yeah, it's time to mention about this. You know what time does he actually hit as a, if you were to drive it, as the saying goes? It hits about this time here. But yeah, this was the best time that included a little bit of drafting and a little bit of pace I did for it. Is it faster on the straightaways? Yeah, that makes sense. But the biggest problem I'm noticing here, I'm only hitting 156.994. So that opponent there shaved 4 more seconds technically than I could ever achieve. That's how much BS this Sophie AI can be, which yeah, I'm going to pit by the way. Bye me. This thing goes. Cause yeah, I will say the Sambabus can only carry about half the laps, so it's still good. It's just not the greatest for the most part. If you want to make an extra lap, you could lean that to 2 or 3, I will say. So in case you wanted to go for 8 laps, you technically can. But as I will say, which yeah, this is funny. As soon as I pit, if you notice here, everyone's suddenly just slowing down. This is how creepy this rubber band gets. I will say. So yeah, now all of a sudden they're just hitting like 40 miles per hour on the low basis of speed there. It's just so BS when it comes to this AI in a nutshell at the same time. And this is a Sophie AI, by the way. This is supposed to be better, but it really ain't shown to be better. It's shown to be worse in some parameters. Even more, because the whole point, I doubt the Sophie experience was to show a human opponent in an AI structure. This is not a human opponent at all to me. Because yeah, don't get me wrong, I probably drive worse than a professional any day, but seeing the time of me only doing 156.9 and the opponent did 153.1 is so BS. Like, come on, like, I could see someone shave at least a whole second quicker than I can on that. But seeing them do 153 just without even trying, that's crazy. I'm sorry. Someone needs to up and prove me on that. I'm sorry to tell you. If you do 153 with a stock BMW 3.0 CSL on Deep Forest Raceway, doing faster than 153.1. If someone proves me that, then I'll shut up. But otherwise, this is bullshit. As the thing goes. And that's the biggest problem when it comes to this rubber band of AI, because it's a bit too powerful when it comes to this. This is actually hilarious what it's reminding me of, because I've been looking at some, well, I don't know if it's political things, but basically a money kind of thing. Because I saw a guy talk about scalper shit, and talk about dynamic pricing being a huge issue that stores have been lately doing, where they just upcharge if they so happen to see a person who wanted that. Which is so BS. But that basically what reminds me of in this AI as well. Because it's just going up, it's never thinking about what it should be doing and going down. Compared to the base price what it's given. Because I'm sorry, when I see an AI structure and its job is to dynamically price things, it should go down, not up. This whole variable pricing scheme is so bullshit lately in terms of marketing issues and stuff. Probably the biggest upset to our economy as of right now. That companies are doing this, not even the, you know, the system's doing this. It's the company doing it at the end of the day, you know? But yeah, as you can see here in time now, I just in like 2 minutes and 9 seconds now. Where was this? As it goes. And he's hitting 159 at the first bit of that slowdown there. So yeah, somebody just slowed down as soon as I pit. Just really weird. It's like, this is like a full demonstration of how bad the AI can be. But as soon as I get up to this point though, they are gonna go back up. Just watch this. Yeah. As soon as I get to this end point here, because I think that BMW is gonna pit here soon. For a goal. We got the Ferrari 240ZG up here in front. Fabulous as always. Surprisingly not my opponent though. The BMW is my opponent. Again, that BMW 3.0 is a very fast car. So as we get down here. So yeah, I think he technically becomes my opponent in return. However, at least he's being righteous compared to the BMW. That I will say. But given the first place that much advantage, or whoever the first place car is gonna be, that much advantage is really bad. Like I said, that means it's very inconsistent. That means the other ones aren't as far as the BMW here, because at best here he's in 156. The Ferrari just did. Or not just did, but at some point he did. Okay, I hit like 153.8. That's just about right when it comes to this circle, which is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty good efficiency at the end of the day for a trade-off of being so fuel hungry as a return. But yeah, that's just the biggest thing that kind of just pisses me off at the end of the day when it comes to that. But yeah, so basically after this tryouts, I'm going to be doing the showcase stuff. I'm going to be doing the regular showcase, showcasing probably like the worst car to ever exist. I swear to God. And then showcasing the engine swaps, which in some cases okay, and in other cases I learned something today. Everything is. But yeah, in terms of what I learned that you want to slap that acceleration sensitivity too high on the LSD thing. The limit slip draft, in other words. Because yeah, if you don't set that high when it comes to FF cars, if you so happen to put a high horsepower or high torque motor into the car, which in this case you put the Golf GT3 motor and the Peugeot 206, you ain't gonna get far with that, I just say that much. At best, you're gonna get the 186 mile per hour. Or maybe the 200, but you still gotta deal with that acceleration instead of the hey on that. So yeah, at this point throughout this race, I'm basically just kind of coasting, really, hoping that BMW doesn't catch me as fast as that Clio did. Yeah, that was the problem about that Clio. That Clio just suddenly just skyrocketed, kept pulling 148s over and over until it got close to me. Then it chilled out, quote unquote, which that's what led to me to just doing this race again, because I just want to show a more fair result, and then I noticed the Clio did the 152 when I drove it, so it's like, you know, the Clio would have technically beaten me there, so throw a more fair result when it comes to speed courses like this, because yeah, I gotta remind myself that Deep Forest Raceway is a speed course when it's low horsepower cars like this, for example, or like even Trail Mountain's technically a speed course for vehicles like this as well. They don't become balanced courses until you hit like 200 or so, as the thing goes. Because yeah, that is the fun part when it comes to racetracks. Racetracks are developed differently for each kind of car out there when it comes to what speed they hit and how well they turn at the end of it. Which in this case, Deep Forest is a speed track to something like the Sambabus, for example, where it'll be a balance course to something like a Skyline or something, for instance. So yeah, that's the fun part when it comes to Deep Forest Raceway in a nutshell. I will say it will still have that speed feeling to it though, no matter what. It's just, if I had to say a main type, it would be a speed course for now until you hit that 200 margin. Then it becomes more of a turning track at the end of it. Well, not turning track, but balance track, I would say. Because Deep Forest Raceway is technically a balance track, but for this case, it's more of a speed track. So yeah, you most likely will be seeing this course in the future for the higher ups, but for something like this, no. At best, maybe a speed course though, like the Goodwood, but I gotta select the Goodwood for that because Goodwood was kind of more consistent and it felt just right. I will say maybe for the next one I might, but I'm not sure. Because I kind of want to keep, I want to at least keep one tryout to another. Which in this case, 130 miles per hour to the 155 pedestrian tryouts in the future here. So yeah, that's my goal so far in terms of hitting and such. So yeah, this is basically the, what is this, like technically the 8th car now I tested, and so now this will be the 9th, I think. Yeah, this will be the 9th because I will say I did put the M1's times in here just yet. I forgot to do that. I gotta make sure to do that too. But yeah, overall the Sambabus, I'd say it's a pretty good one. It's like, I would say it's kind of just a low A. It's not a high A. It's a low A because of the fact that the fuel burns like no tomorrow. It's the only issue. But other than that, it's still pretty phenomenally good, and especially with the 911 motor. I mean, I'm not stressed. The 911 motor is pretty crazy when you slap it into things. If there's an engine swap that's usually the best when it comes to engine swaps, it's usually the 911, I assume, because of the fact is it's a mid acceleration kind of motor That's also kind of high power too on top of it. I mean, there's a reason why there's gotta be a reason why the Porsche sports car as it is expensive, and that's probably the biggest reason why, is because how good that motor is on top of it. Besides being a flat 4 most of the case. But yeah, I got the 3.0 CSL trying to give chase, and you can see it did a minute 54.601 there, so not crazy. Cause yeah, I will say the rubber band does go crazy on the first half. This is something I gotta remind myself too, and then on the later half they chill out. This is a similar case to one of the toughest races in the endurance one. Like the last of the endurance one that involves with, I believe, Red Bull. No, not Red Bull Ring, but the one Italian course. I can't recall what it's called, sadly, because my brain ain't really fixated on that one's name, because its name is complicated for Italian course. But it's basically that one. For the GT3 ones, like the final ones, basically. But that one's a similar case where it's like half in, they're crazy, but on the next half, they're fine. And that's when you can take your advantage and eventually win at that point. You know, I should have had your win to begin with, but you know, as the saying goes. We got Aquarius and the Sierra just still in the back, while the Alfords looks like getting further back, I gotta say. It was high up there, now it's like an 18 now. And you got the Golf being 17. You got the Porsche 356, and the Tundra's pitting again. Good God. I can't deal with the allegations of fuel burn. I think goes. But yeah, like I said, the bad part when it comes to the fuel times, yeah, it does like butcher the crap out of big vehicles like the Tundra and stuff. Because yeah, you just make it burn even more. As the thing goes. But yeah, that is kind of a problem. But then again, at least it's not an electric car, because if it's an electric car, they wouldn't even make the lap, basically. That's how they get to the pit. I'm dead serious on that, too. As the thing goes. Yeah, this guy on 2000 GT, trying to get in there. Got the Civic SIR 2. Yeah, getting 10th, not bad. The Roadster S, it's hitting knife right now. I'm surprised about that. Again, it looks like I might have to pit here soon. So is the Skyline Hardtop. Skyline Hardtop's still holding. Hey, the Roadster's beating the old Roadster's beating. Oh, wait, hang on. Needs a pit. Damn it. Well, bye, old Roadster. I guess. You got the Mito. Cause yeah, I was wondering, like, is the old one better or the new one better? I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of close. I'm looking at that. You got the 2000 GTs going at each other. Not surprised. I was figuring that was gonna happen sooner or later. Early Z hitting a 156.3. That seems reasonable. Unlike the BMW here, did a 153.9 just to really rub it in. How BS you are. Because reminder, he's on comfort mediums too. So it's not a really great set of tires for this year for the corn bits. Speed wise, it's good, but it's just, you know, the corn bits. Yeah, basically on the final corner here. Because it tries to give chase to me, because yeah, it's not too far away. But yeah, on the basic final lap here. Got the victory in a Sambabus. Is it my mistake I drove a Sambabus into this? Yeah, probably. But at least it's fun and to be hip with at the end of the day. Yep. So that basically ends that race here as we get the straightaway, and bam. You know, 155, which yeah, that was pretty slow. I think I had no draft targets at that point. I mean, if any targets get in my way, good God. But yeah, that basically ends that for this tryouts. I hope you enjoyed what you watched there, besides the big old cheating allegations. Until then, for the next one, we are doing the Suzuki Carry KC. So until then, people, I'll see you guys all next time. You guys take care and ciao. Hope you enjoyed what you watched.